All right, guys, back with you here to finish up. You guys had a lot of choices here, and it was spread all over the board. It's a wide variety of alts. They essentially all look exactly the same, right? They all reflected here in total too. So I thought what we'd do here is this essentially covers everything you guys were requesting. Was work on total two, which is crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So this is a disappointment, no question about it. For those of us that are anxiously looking forward to an alt season, it does not appear as though it's coming anytime soon, despite the very beautiful impulse we get off of the low. I mean, all the ingredients have been there, but this right here is a big disappointing reaction here. Now, it doesn't eliminate the possibility here, but based on some of the structure and just the straight algo plays that we can look at. So I'm sure all of you have done this. So we pull swing high to swing low, and of course we've come right to the golden zone. In fact, we broke this. Did we get that? I think it was 618 to the tick, right? Which is amazing if you think about it, right? Total market cap is going to be that technical, yet there it is. So you can't argue with it. So we had looked at this a couple weeks ago, and we were thinking, ABC. Same problem with all of them, as in length of time is unusually short relative to the impulse. But structure's there, right? Nice little ABCs there. You can finish with a 5 here. Everything is in place, but this certainly does not, that's not the reaction you'd hope for there. In fact, it looks much more corrective. So unfortunately, if we're going to droop down here again, there's almost, there's a very remote possibility that we are starting one of the world's ugliest diagonals, but you're really, I think you're hitting the hopium pipe there a little too hard to try and unless something big comes out of here. I don't know how we get out of this with this as our low here. Maybe a double bottom. It's just this, the subdivision just doesn't support it, guys, right? I'm anxiously chomping at the bit for alt season to get started here. So even just the basic stuff. So okay, so we can say, all right, well, you gotta if I get that right on here. So we've got a golden corner pocket, right? So what's the problem, right? So 80% odds of making the median line. Well, that's true, right? That 80% is 80%. So, right, but that also leaves 20% where we don't make it. So let's be realistic here. Now, could we bounce here? Yeah, we could. It's mighty tough to dig a motive wave out of this, or even the idea that we that we've had a motive wave and we're correcting that. So I'm on the 4 hour here. Right, so the 80% holds now. It's per Andrew's principle number one, trading principle number one. As long as this pivot holds, that 80% is still in play. But so what are the odds that this holds? Well, let's go look at it and see how we look down here, because right, just looking at this is certainly looks much more like something you'd experience in a 4 rather than to be the start of a new trend. So you can't help but consider the alternate that we've just done something on a higher degree that would be pretty much right, like just some sort of a 5 going in on the way down here, which would imply an A wave. It's hard to count this as anything other than an impulse. I think that's fairly solid. So what this is setting up is potentially just a bigger correction that would solve the problem of the fact that the length of time here is so short relative to this. So it solves that problem, but it certainly puts any potential alt season off for, well, some months at the very least. Now, before we absolutely lock in on this, well, first thing, right, to lock in on it, we're going to need a break of this low. Then that completely eliminates the possibility that we've got an ABC that's pivoted down here. Let's go. Here, I'm going to leave this off here just so let's not assume anything just yet. Let's go down to a 30-minute. Sure any of you will cooperate with me. Okay, so is there... The ABC is not terrible, right? It's not bad, right? So the ABC is pretty solid. Now I can get. Let me just zoom in a little bit over here. Scrunch back a little bit. So I can get a 5 out of that. So you could, you know, bulls could kind of cling to this looked, maybe we could make that case that we had a 1-2 here, and that's the last time we looked at it. It looked like, okay, maybe possible. Now if we break this low, of course that eliminates. Then you're maybe hanging on to the idea that you're doing something like this. That's getting stretched a little bit. What are you calling this? So now you're looking at, well, you'd have to do it as a WXY because the ABC is there. So this is, we complete here, especially since you've got a 5 here. So you'd have to trade it as a WX now, right? Where's your Y? So I don't want to give up on it just yet. So as long as we hold above that, right, we do have the golden corner here, so we have that to help us. We have that 80% probability. Let's scrunch up a little. Fuck, I'm gonna do it on a 1. I mean, it's hanging by a thread, really. W, yeah, you can probably get an X wave there, but how are we going to get an ABC out of that? Even if we really zoom in there, more likely you're still in the A wave here. It's ugly. Well, maybe you could get this here, A, B, and we're putting in the C. See what that B looked like. So if you went here, there's golden zone to the tick, right? So Jesus Christ. All right, so you look and go, how is that possible here? How is it that's possible here that we're seeing that here in total T or total 2? There it is. All right. So you could work the A, the B, and oh, shit, that's. Oh man, it's ugly no matter how you slice it. Maybe you're working into the 3, 4, 5. Let's get that. Maybe you're working that. Boy, that's a stretch. That's a 60-minute, but you could finish it. Here, let's pull this off. Back to the golden zone. I can't say I love the 1. So this would be too abrupt. So that has to be part of. So, man, no, you can't do it that way. I'm trying to think. It's because this is... So it looks a bit more like this would be an A, B, C, but then you don't have this, so you can't get a flat out of it. Boy, it's really a stretch to try and stay bullish here. So maybe you could get... Maybe you could get it that way. So you might be able to get a flat here. So you can go 3. So that would be deep enough. So you might be able to get this. So you could go A, B, C into another W. So you could get that. So you get the W. Now that's going to be shy. I'm guessing right here. I got to look at it. So let's check it. So from ideally you'd get to the 618. Oh, I'll be damned, right? So look at that. All right, so we can make that work. Okay, so there's your ABC 618 to the tick, so it qualifies for an X. So the first W's in here. So boy, can we do it this? No, can't do it that way. So you'd need an A. Can you get it? Man, you might. A, B. Working on the C, maybe we could save it here. Get this down here. A, B, so you'd be finishing like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Preferably you'd hold the golden zone. It ain't gorgeous. Let's bring this degree down here. Let's go. Let's get that also is way too high. Let's change that color. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so then we could come down here. Let's get that also. Let's put that in white so we can see it a little better. Okay, so this is good. WXAB, we need this to finish down here to put in the Y. All right, let's try and put the whole thing back together. Ah, fuck. that's ugly. Right, it is just fucking ugly, right? So, all right, one. I don't see another way to try and hang on to anything that's bullish here, because the more obvious thing is we've just gone A, well, A, B, and we're putting in the C to go down here and complete that at that where we started, with the possibility here that we're just putting in an A wave, and this is just going to be an impulse that's going to come down. I'm really working too hard to try and hang on to a bullish bias here, but I mean, I suppose technically you could hang on to the idea that, well, we've already broken here, so we do get the break here. Now we could go deeper here, but we're going to go WX and then have, yeah, fuck, I don't even know if we can pull that off. It's, boy, come out here at a 2 hour, it's such a cluster F in there, and that just feels like I'm working too hard there to force fit that. Whoops. Let's get that back on there. I think I'm working too hard for that. So look, when in doubt, right, what's the simplest thing? Right, the simplest thing was just the reality, right? So I'm trying to hang on to the bullish idea here, but I think I'm fooling myself, and I sure as hell don't want to fool you guys. What's the most probable? What's the simplest thing to see, right? We're in a 5 coming down, so we're seeking an A wave here. That's what's most probable here. Even this is, you know, right in the pocket where you'd anticipate it. Here's your target down here. So if it's an algo play, you're likely breaking. Although nothing says we must go down here. We could double bottom down here. But then you're still, this is all we're doing is putting in an A wave here, right? A, B, and C still yet to come. Sad but true. I think that's what we're stuck with here until things change pretty dramatically. All right, so Bitcoin does look like it's primed to go up and finish the count that it's in the middle of. Right? We just looked at that in pretty good detail. Right? The probability is that we break out of that triangle to the high side. I don't know if that's going to be any help here. Certainly, it might be. So if Bitcoin resolves higher and we break lower here, that certainly tees up the A wave here. Now you're going to want to see a decent reaction come out of here to give us a potential B before we go down for the C. But it's just not looking great for alts. Much as I'm frustrated to say that, it just does not look good. All right, Bitcoin looks solid. Alts, very, very few of them look good. Very few, right? Which is reflected here. So there you go, right? Bad news. I hate to be the bearer of it, right? Like I said, right? You guys know I'm a bull here, but it just is not there. So I can't recommend anything here in any alt at the moment until we get resolution. Until we find out, are we coming down here for the 5? Well, do you want to buy into the B wave? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can make, there's potential there, but it sure is going to need to be. You're going to want this to be very pretty on the, well, whether you whatever alt you're trading, you're going to want to see that B be just textbook. So you'd be looking for, I think, wise to wait for something to set up. Give me right in the sweet spot, something along those lines before I come down here for this. So I just can't paint any more lipstick on this, right? That's as good as I can make it look, and it don't look great. All right, guys, I'm sorry to give you the bad news there, but I'm guessing you all saw the same thing that I saw, right? This just looks fugly. All right, guys, talk to you later.